Okay, I've never used this microphone before. Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for braving the snow and coming out to see our concert today. We've got a really, really exciting repertoire lined up. It's going to be really fantastic. I'm so excited for all of you to hear it. A couple of really, really quick announcements. Please make sure that you silence all your cell phones. It's very distracting, and no flash photography either. It can be distracting to the musicians. And then also, just be aware of the exits, the ones that you probably came in all the way at the back, and then there's this one on the right side of the stage. Other than that, thank you all so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the show. First up, we have the Percussion Ensemble led by Peter Struyk, so please enjoy. All right, how about that percussion ensemble? They were really great. All right, so while they break down a little bit, I was reminded that I forgot to tell you who I was when I first stepped up here. So my name is Kristen. I am the president of the Wind Band Association as of 2 months ago, so very exciting. And everything that you're going to see today is put on by the Humanities and Arts Department and the Wind Band Association. So how about a hand for them? All right, and up next in the program is the Clarinet Quartet. I hope you enjoy.
Test. Well, there it is. Okay. So I asked Kristen if I could help her out because not only was she announcing and playing in the clarinet quartet, she was also playing on saxophone in the saxophone quintet. So I said, how about if I help you out and you can go change instruments, and just trying to stretch the time so she can do that. How about another hand for that clarinet quartet, huh? And actually, it does give me a chance to let you know how these chamber groups work, and I really think it's the way to go. So they rehearse once a week for an hour, and so they'll get new music, and they rehearse on their own for an hour, and then, during a given week, and then the next week I go and I coach, and I give suggestions, so like a chamber coach, and then the next week they work on their own. And that's a great opportunity for leadership, right? For all four of them, and give their suggestions and grow musically that way. And it's the same with the saxophone quintet. So let's bring them out right now. The WPI Saxophone Quintet. How about another hand for the sax quintet? Okay, so the next group that I'm happy to introduce, you've heard about this earlier in the year, and they're going to perform a piece that will be taking on tour with us to Prague. Aaron Copland's Down a Country Lane. So please welcome our tour ensemble. Please welcome our tour ensemble. Here we go. So, two questions. The first one is not rhetorical. Wait a second. The first one is not a rhetorical question. Yeah, the first one's not rhetorical. The second one is. Okay. So, how many of you remember having subscriptions to Life magazine this size back in the 60s and maybe before, maybe a little bit after, right? This size, right? So when you, when you open it up, I mean, forget about that. Most of us don't read newspapers anymore, but, right? Right? Well, the question you don't have to answer, the students know this because we've studied about this. So now it's time to share it with you. And the question would be, what does Life magazine and Aaron Copland's Down a Country Lane have in common? Well, this issue, you can see Ted Kennedy in the middle there, right? But this issue, June 29th, 1962, that was a very good year. I'll let you figure that out. You can do the math. But anyway, check this out. Down a Country Lane. It wasn't, when it was first published, it wasn't like, some music publishing house or sheet music. It was first published in Life magazine for piano, for solo piano. And that's what Copland wanted. So if you wanted to learn this new piano piece by Aaron Copland, you had to get a hold of this magazine. Now, back then, you didn't have eBay to get it. I do. So I got it. So what we're going to do, you're going to hear two performances of Down a Country Lane. One in its original format, straight from this Life magazine issue. I'll introduce the soloist momentarily. And then the second one is a wind band version that came along decades after. Now, something we also saw that was interesting, those of you that have ever played piano or another instrument, or you just might in general be familiar with a metronome, it helps keep your time, right? So this one in Copland's version says, gently flowing in a pastoral mood, quarter note equals 104. And with some artistic license, you can go a couple metronome markings either way on that. The band arrangement is quarter note equals 88. That's more than a couple metronome markings different. So when I heard a performance of this on YouTube, I thought, boy, that's pretty quick, because I was using the metronome marking on the band score. So our soloist is going to, take his interpretation of the tempo, and we'll take ours with the wind band here. I think mine's somewhere in between the two. But now I'm going to introduce our soloist, and I'm going to hand off the original music to him. He's going to play it right out of the Life magazine. Please welcome our soloist on piano, Griffin Brown. I think Copeland would have approved, right? We're the composer's advocate to maintain, the integrity of the composer's original intent. They played. How about another hand as they're going on? They played so well. And I'll just slip in here real quick. For the last time, on your way out today, I'm looking right at if anybody would like to contribute to our tour. We have a collection, I guess, plastic box back there, and we thank you for any consideration in that regard. Before I bring out the full group, I do want to mention the composer of this next piece, Bedřich Smetana. He's also, well, I would say not also, but he was a composer born in Prague. So the tour ensemble will also be playing this piece in Prague. Today we're going to play it with the full ensemble. So please welcome the WPI Concert Band. I think we have to get some WD-40. Does that make anybody else nervous? Squeak, squeak, squeak. So this is the fourth movement of David Maslanka's Symphony Number 7. He was actually born in Massachusetts. And later on in his career, moved west. Ended up in Montana. But this fourth movement is transformative. I mean, I really think you're going to feel like you've been transported somewhere else. It's well, that's it, transformative. And I saw when some people, Griffin, you probably didn't see this, but when you were playing your solo, oh yeah, he's back on piano, that's right, he's back. When you were playing your piano solo, people, they had their eyes closed. A lot of them had their, you took them someplace. That's our objective, is to bring the audience on a musical journey. Well, wait till you see where you're going to go now. Okay? And this was composed in 2004. David Maslanka's finale to his Symphony Number 7. hold on 1 second here, Andrew. Okay, so I knew we were going to do this sometime this year, and well, heading into the winter break, I kind of rolled back to the front of my mind that and it's, I mean, isn't that a gorgeous euphonium solo? I mean, just make your heart melt. And these are rental parts because composers and publishers, they rent parts when there aren't a lot of ensembles that are strong enough to buy multiple copies of them. So they rent them out at a, hefty price. But I wanted to program this year for Andrew, and then I was like, Andrew's going to be on IQP D term. We got to play at C term. He's going to be in London next term. So let's hear it for Andrew there. Okay, as Charlie is getting ready, this is you can hold it up so they can see. This is called a djembe. And you're going to hear him playing this. It's a great solo. You're going to hear several solos. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you'll know why when you hear this piece. Rightfully so. He always asked me, he said, Professor Lutch, whenever possible in our 2-hour rehearsal, can we schedule this piece to go last because my palms really hurt when I'm done with this piece. So we did when we could. So John Mackey's, excuse me, John Mackey's Strange Humors. It's a very programmatic title. Those of you who are fans of Wynton Marsalis, great jazz and classical trumpet soloist. When he plays his trumpet, he's playing jazz, especially with mutes, and especially with plunger mutes or Harmon mutes. It's like he's talking through the instrument. And very similarly, you're going to hear clarinets, saxophones, altos, the whole section, soprano, saxophone, laughing. I mean, that's what at different spots. That's what John Mackey wanted. You'll hear it. Strange Humors. Okay, now the band, we're gonna do an audible here. They don't know, put that back up. The Strange Humors. They don't know I'm going to do this, but as I mentioned earlier, as an ensemble, as musicians, as conductors, if you're a soloist, in any kind of performance realm, you have a certain amount of artistic license for your own interpretation, so long as it does not change the overall intent of the composer's overall intent. So artistic license. So we're going to play the end of this two ways. Okay? And the change, the artistic license we took, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, is literally on the last note you're going to hear. Now, we're going to play it twice. The first time is the way in which the composer John Mackey wrote it. The second time, on that last note, just like you heard, you're going to hear what we call a fall off the last note. Pow! And that was, Cody, I don't know if that was during a rehearsal or right after, and we tried it. And we all agreed. We said, that really sounds great. So, and it doesn't take away from the overall composer's intent. So we have Cody Bonaventura to thank for this. And we're going to play it the first way, and then with artistic license, as suggested by Cody. Okay, here's the first way, which is good also, but it's not Cody's interpretation. Okay, so this is what we call play the ink. Just play what's on the page. Play the ink, right? Here we go. This is from P. Letter P. Letter P. Ready? Letter P. 1, 2, okay. Here's Cody's interpretation. Letter P. On behalf of all the musicians, fine musicians, thanks so much for coming out. And I know it's crazy weather, and so I know it's getting cloudier as the day goes on. So I won't talk too much more. So you have light time and hopefully dry roads to get home. Those of you, how many of you were at our last concert? Okay, so you heard a very clever arrangement of Stars and Stripes for Christmas, right? Well, today you're going to hear the real McCoy, Stars and Stripes Forever, by John Philip Sousa. And something a lot of us might not know about is how he came about composing this piece. He and his wife were on holiday in England, and they were coming back to New York on a big ship, and to kind of try to make some of the daylight hours go by quicker, Sousa would just walk the length of the deck, back and forth and back and forth. And he started getting this melody in his mind, in his ears, and different strains of this piece, this to be perhaps composed. But he didn't have his writing utensils with him, and so came back the next day, walked up and down, and was still there. And then started to form more in his mind. And this went on for about 3 days. And finally got to New York. They went to the hotel room that they had been staying in before the trip, and he had his tools there, and he put it to paper, pen to paper, or pencil to paper, and becomes Stars and Stripes Forever. And it was written in 1896 on Christmas Day, December 25th. Stars and Stripes Forever.
you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Safe travels. Thank you very much.